Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. This one is 126. What are we talking about today? Baseball card exchange and Steve Hart. Second time in a few months where, again, a really bad look on their part. And I want to really just kind of talk, especially keying on the latest one here that happened at the National. And, I'm going to be honest, it's not going to be nice necessarily, but, I call it like I see it, and I see this one as another black eye, on the company, on Steve Hart. So we're gonna tackle that. We're gonna revisit the G.I. Joe debacle, just kind of to set the baseline, and then talk about the 86-87 Fleer basketball box that they, certified. But before we get to that, let's hear from our great sponsors, Mojo Breaks. After that, we'll do the new release, we'll do the hobby news, and then BBCE. Stay tuned.
MojoBreakShop.com is the best place to get your sealed wax products and breaks. They not only have the best selection, but the best prices. Whether it's a box or a whole case, they are your guys. They ship worldwide to your doorstep. Their reputation as one of the most trusted in the hobby goes unmatched. They are the 2021 Topps Rip Party Champion Breakers. From sports card to Pokemon cards, their selection can't be beat. They offer daily deals and pre-orders.
Hey guys, John Newman here. Mojo's prices are already great, but to save an additional 10% off anything in their store, use the code QUICKHITS. That's QUICKHITS. Check out the full service store that's open 7 days a week in Santa Clara, California, or the website at mojobreak.com.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Max.
Hi guys, it's Max from the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan. I'm bringing to you guys again the weekly releases for the Sports Card Nation podcast. To start us off, on the 24th, we have 2022 Panini World Cup soccer stickers, 2022 Panini World Cup soccer stickers album, 2022 Topps Clearly Authentic Baseball, 2021 Topps Garbage Pail Kids, Chrome, 2021 Panini Select Football, Marvel Spider-Man Metal Universe Upper Deck, 2021-22 Topps Inception Overtime Elite Basketball, and on the 26th we have 2022 Best of Benchwarmer, 2022 Panini Chronicles Racing, Pokemon Go Pokeball Tin, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tactical Masters, 2022 Leaf Metal Draft Football Hobby and Jumbo. And that is our weekly releases. I appreciate you guys tuning into the podcast, and have a good rest of your week. Thank you.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
All right, we got a few stories on the docket. Beckett has moved into their new digs in Plano, Texas, 100,000 square feet, 3 times their old place, and they have a digital studio, a recording studio, a gym, a game room, and conference areas. So congrats to Beckett on their new headquarters. Fanatics has sent out a survey to stores, breakers, and online sellers, and what they're calling a way to better serve their buyers. What I feel it is, and many others, is, as they continue to go to the direct-to-consumer model, they're trying to gather as much information as possible. And let me just say, I'm not opposed to the direct-to-consumer model. It's probably just smart business. So they're trying to probably gather as much information, streamline the process, and they're doing it, or partly doing it, with this survey. Cal Ripken fans rejoice? Well, maybe. It depends if you're into NFTs or not. Candy Digital has announced an exclusive deal with Cal Ripken. They will be producing Cal Ripken NFTs from his career, some career highlights and those sort of things, exclusively of Cal Ripken. So if you're a Cal Ripken fan or super collector, this might be right up your alley. A Hank Aaron rookie, 1954 Topps, is the new standard bearer through a private PWCC sale. It's a PSA 9, and it sold for $720,000. There are 25 PSA 9s in existence, but this one is the new record holder for highest sale price. Now, there are also 3 PSA 10s as well out there. So those look like all of a sudden they're going to be $1 million cards, as they probably well should be. If you know anything about the Aaron rookie, famously has issues with centering. So you get PSA 9, PSA 10 of this card. That is a beautiful specimen. So new Aaron rookie card sale record.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, before we get started, some house cleaning. First off, full disclosure, want to be transparent. I do have some wrapped BBCE boxes in my sealed box inventory. Nothing of major significance and nothing obviously on the level of a 1986-87 Fleer basketball box. My box's value in ranges from $50 to probably around $200 max. But I do own, BBCE wrapped boxes. Just want to get that very clear and off the top. But this episode came about because of everything happening. I'm looking at those boxes thinking, what does this wrapping and authentication mean anymore, right? I hate to say that, but that's where we're at. Let's talk about the first, if you will, incident, right? January of this year, 2022, Logan Paul paid $3.5 million for a case of the first series ever of Pokemon. He bought it from a high-end collector named Shine, who had acquired it himself from the card shop in Florida, Mealy Pops. And BBCE certified it, wrapped it, and they started to open it on camera, only to discover G.I. Joe packs in there. And definitely not $3.5 million worth of G.I. Joe packs. And so, huge blunder. The camera pans to Steve Hart, the owner of BBCE, and you hear him say, "We were duped." And when I saw that, I'm like, you were duped. You were the one that wrapped us and gave the thumbs up on it. Not we. They, Shine, Mealy Pops, whoever, Logan Paul, they turned to you as the only expert in this niche, right? And that's another thing we need to talk about. Other than PSA grading packs and encapsulating packs, Steve Hart, BBCE are the only ones that I'm aware of that are authenticating sealed wax boxes or wax boxes in general and wrapping them and giving them the BBCE seal of approval. Now, maybe that changes now with all the egg on the face they have. Maybe that opens the door for someone who is considering throwing their hat into that arena. But I will say this, anyone that's going to do it, 2 things. Number 1, there is no better time than now. BBCE's never going to probably be lower than they are right now. This is the opportunity to strike. But if someone out there is going to do it, or an organization that already exists, or a new company, get your ducks in a row, right? So the opportunity's no better than now, but whoever throws their hat in the arena, if anyone does, you want to be on point right now, right? Because the door's open, but you don't want to close it on yourself. So, they're the only game in town at the moment that I'm aware of, or at least that I've heard of. And that happened in January. Was terrible. Obviously, was talked about for weeks. Is still talked about. It became a meme in itself. And I just remembered "we were duped" coming out of Steve Hart's mouth. And no, Steve, you were duped. No, your company was. I'm assuming you signed off on it and certified it. But if someone else did, it's still your company. So that was January. Here we are. Now in the National, August, 7 months later, and Whatnot acquires a box of 86-87 Fleer basketball, certified by BBCE, Baseball Card Exchange, and, they gave out some of those packs to content creators and people in the hobby, in the industry, and it was noted that there is a sequence. There is a rhyme or reason to 86, 86, 87 Fleer basketball. A lot of times you can tell if there's a Jordan in that pack by who you see. And, a lot of times the packs can be sort of search. You can see the player through the front of the pack, using some lighting and magnification potentially, and you can see who's the card on the back. And I've heard instances where people can tell by that card on the front whether there might be a Jordan or Whatnot in the pack. Whatnot, not no pun intended. And the other problem with the 86-87 Fleer basketball boxes, and I remember them because I was in the hobby back then. I was a young hobbyist at 15 years old. But they were not factory sealed. They were just packed in a box, 36 packs, packed tight, and then the flap goes in and you had a box. And so it makes it easier for someone who knows kind of the sequencing and the rhyme or reason. If they had 3 or 4 boxes, they potentially could look at the front card and maybe pull some of the Jordan packs without having to open all the packs or a majority of the packs. And if you have 3 or 4 boxes and you're keen and skilled to that level, you could potentially, there's on average 3 Jordans per box, right? So 3 boxes would, in a sense, be 9 Jordans. Could be an odd one in there. Some boxes contain 4, but let's use the 3 per box rule, which typically what you see. That's 9 Jordans. You could pull maybe 6 early on without really, opening a good percentage of the packs, and then put the boxes together and still have probably 2.5 or 2.25 boxes, packs worth of boxes. 80 packs out of the original 108, let's say, if maybe even more. And then make sealed boxes. You got to remember what these boxes go for when they're certified. $140,000 to $250,000. It's a lot of money, okay, obviously. That's about $5,000 a pack. Somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 a pack when the box is certified. So $140K to $250K for one of these boxes potentially. And someone unscrupulous could potentially manipulate these. And I was just shocked. Obviously, I'm not buying 86, 87 Fleer basketball boxes, but I was shocked to find out, Baseball Card Exchange's certification process with these. Steve Hart went on, filmed a video and admitted, this is not speculation, this is his words, admitted that the box that was submitted, that wound up being the Whatnot box opened at the National, that one pack he viewed as tampered with, and the other one was opening up and it had a Jordan sticker on. And so to me, when I heard that, if I'm in this line of work, someone submits that box and 2 of the packs don't pass inspection, as Steve Hart clearly said, how do you wrap and certify that box? He said he replaced the 2 packs. I'm assuming he has his own packs on hand. So he took 2 of his own, I'm assuming he didn't say otherwise, 86, 87 Fleer basketball packs, and took those 2-packs out and put his 2-packs in and wrapped it. And as he called it a put-together box. Others are calling it a Frankenstein box. I mean, tomato, but this is not an original box. And number one, I don't know why anyone would, that should be worded as such. I don't think it was. I think it was just worded as BBCE certified authentic. But that should be worded as a put-together box, not an original box. And buyer beware, right? Cautionary tale that a put-together box could have one pack from 36 different other boxes, potentially. I mean, that's a long shot, too. But it potentially could. If you took one pack from 36, 86, 87 Flair basketball boxes, put them in another box, and then submitted it to BBCE, and it passes Steve Hart's inspection, and he'll seal it with their current program, unless they've made changes already, as a, authentic 86, 87 Flair basketball box. And if every one of those packs kind of that, they're cherry-picked, and the person knows that there's no Jordan in there, you could have potentially a Jordanless box of 86, 87 Flair basketball. But here's the kicker, right? Once that thing is shrink wrapped by BBCE, it becomes that highly expensive box, right? $140,000 potentially. They've sold for $250,000. Well, even let's go to the lower end of the scale, right? $140,000. Obviously, that's a good chunk of change, more than my house cost. Not by much, but it is more than my house cost. And I mean, to me, that's just crazy. When Steve got that box, and I don't know Steve Hart personally. I don't want to talk like I know him. I don't. I just know who he is, what he does, and what company he owns. And I see him at the National. I haven't really had a conversation, and he was tagged in all the social media to promote this episode. And if he's listening, I don't know if he is or he isn't. If he's listening or word gets back that we had this episode, he is more than welcome to come on and have equal time. We'll do a special episode. I'm going to definitely ask him some questions that are head scratchers to me, and I'd love to have him on to discuss this if he so chooses to come on. That's up to him. But I believe in equal time. So, an expensive box, and frankly, when, you get a box, to me, you get a box of 36 packs and 2 don't pass the inspection, you can't seal that box. What you could do is inspect the rest of the 34 packs and certify the individual packs as non-tampered and sealed. But you can't just replace the 2 bad packs and then seal that whole box. And in the future, he's got to, I don't know what now, but in the future, if he continues to do that, that's got to be clearly noted that these packs could be from all different boxes, that all that he is certifying is that they're authentic and, in his opinion, untampered with 86, 87 Fleer basketball. But there is a sequence and rhyme or reason to it. So a normal, brand new 86, 87 Fleer basketball box traditionally and typically contains about 3 sets. There should be about 3 of every card in there. Now, it could be off 1 or 2 cards by the way the sheets are cut. But you're going to get, on average, about 3 sets and then some extra, cards in addition to that as well. Remember, this is a small set, right? I believe 110 card. And, once you start dummying up these boxes and putting packs from all different boxes, it gets all dummied up. The Whatnot box that's in question, we're not in that sequence that people know. There was, I believe, 1 pack at least that was in like alphabetical order that had like 5 different Johnsons or 3 different Johnsons in it, which was not the sequence. And it's what tipped everyone off that something was amiss. And again, this is the second time in 7 months that, the first deal was $3.5 million with that Pokemon first edition case. And now we have a box that estimated value, $140K or more. And again, egg on the face, right? And each part, terrible. And I think it gets amplified on the cost of these, right? If this was an 87 Topps baseball box that was sealed by BBCE and it was opened up and contained, 88 Topps packs, it still would be bad, and they would be taking heat for that too. But when you add the values of these two mistakes up, you're going to take even more heat, right? It's like when you're an employer and you make a mistake, right? If it's a lesser valued one, you might keep your job, right? If it's a bigger valued one, you're probably going to have no choice but to let you go, right? But there's going to be no letting go here as far as Steve Hart's concerned. He owns the company. The letting go part might be on us, the consumer, of what we value what they do now. And again, I have boxes over there in my site as I do this episode that are BBCE wrapped, and I'm looking at them and just thinking, at the end of the day, what does that wrapping mean anymore, right? It's sort of been tainted, if you will. It doesn't hold the same aura about it. Not that those boxes aren't authentic as they are wrapped, but that's a company now that's really looked really bad on 2 occasions in less than 7. And it's. I bought those boxes already wrapped. I didn't send them to Steve and BBC disclosure. But at this point, I wouldn't use them to wrap any boxes I had, whether I was keeping them or for resale. And I just don't have any faith anymore, right? That's the word here, faith. I think you lose faith in things when they've proven not to be accurate or true. And I know, people are human, they make mistakes. But these are, again, we're talking about huge value mistakes. $3.5 million on the first one in January, and now, potentially $250,000, $140K on the second one. And, it came up on Hobby Hotline. John Keating in the chat room said, how many more mistakes are out there that we don't know, right? That are still wrapped and no one's open yet. Highly expensive product that we just don't know that maybe Steve got duped again because they're not been revealed as being duped. It's a legitimate question that you have to ask. How many more mistakes haven't been, opened as a box or as a case that have that BBCE certification? And I just don't have the faith in that anymore. Truth be told, I'm sorry. That's where I'm at with that. Again, it's not a service or product I use directly. I've acquired some product that other people have used that service, and I've acquired the product in either a buyout or I've just bought the item itself, and it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Even when I'm selling those products, I'm probably going to look up sort of the uncertified version, and if I sell it, base it off those comps. And again, I'll reiterate, if Steve's out there, he hears this, or it gets back to him, and he wants to come on and answer some questions and refute anything I said, more than I believe in equal time. I think it's fair. You're welcome. Just reach out to me, and we'll set that up. This is not good. There's been some other negative stories with the integrity of the hobby, right? And for all these bad stories, I know there's 10 great ones, right? That's the positive lining, if you will. But when these things happen, right, I've always said I have to cover them. I have to talk about them. I have to give, my 2 cents, if you will. I'm not I was going to say expert opinion. I don't believe there are really, experts. I think they're just experienced. And, I've been around a little bit to say. So, I've been, people ask me what I think, and I feel very strong about this topic. And that's why this episode now exists, and we're 20 minutes into this portion of the show. So that's my take. Now, I will say this, and it has nothing to do with BBCE, but Whatnot issued sort of an apology, and they are buying another box through Ken Golden, and they're going to be doing a live rip of that. And Ken's going to be on that Whatnot stream during that break, and the same people that got packs in the first break will be getting this, I don't know, in addition to or as replacement. Didn't go into specific details. So there's going to be a take 2 on that. And, you could say, well, Whatnot's doing that for publicity, to get some attention. Whatever the case may be, they're trying to make it right. They didn't have to probably buy another box at, $100,000 or more, but they're doing it to try to make it right. Maybe get a little good publicity in the meantime. And if you read their statement, there was a little shade thrown at BBCE in there. I thought that was in. So check that out if you haven't. It's been all over social, so chances are you have. But if you haven't seen it, definitely go check that statement out. It basically absolves themselves, which I don't think they did anything wrong. They bought a box that was certified by BBCE. They thought it was the real McCoy, legitimate, where not what was going to happen that happened. Now they're going to buy another one. I think the onus falls really completely on Steve and BBCE putting that stamp of approval, and then that turns out to be the way it turned out to be. So that's where the blame to me lies. Be careful here. I don't know how many you're buying boxes in the six-figure range anyway, but if you're in that space, man, I don't know what that wrapping means anymore, be told. So I guess it's the Wild Wild West and buyer beware and that sort of thing. But wanted to cover it. I think we covered it enough. We're 22 minutes in. Again, I'll just close with this. If BBCE, Steve, or another representative want to come on and talk about this, I got a lot of questions. I'm going to ask them. They're not going to tell me what I can or can't ask, but they're more than welcome to come on the show and talk as much as they want, explain as much as long as they answer some question I have. So there's my soapbox on the BBCE topic and issues there 2 times in 7 months. And love to hear your opinion. Do you agree? Disagree? Am I making that more out of it than it should be? I mean, that you're entitled to your opinion. Let me know. I care about everyone else's opinion as well. So give me some feedback, whether you agree or disagree. I love to hear it. Either way. So that's going to do it.
All right, that's going to do it for another edition of Hobby Quick Hits. I know I came on a little strong there, but that's my opinion. That's how I feel. If you disagree, right, we're all entitled to our opinion. And, I gave mine. And it's not something I'm going to just beat like a dead horse. I haven't really weighed in on this topic in specifics other than in the news segments previous. So, but this happened again, and so I figured I wanted to give my 2 cents, and maybe a little bit more than 2 cents, because I have some BBCE product, right? So it's not where I've never used them or don't have anything they've wrapped. I do. So I just wanted to weigh in on how I feel, and there you go. So with that being said, we'll see you Friday for another edition of Sports Card Nation, which will be Shane Norton from the Sports Card Nobody, and we'll see you back here next Monday for another edition of Hobby Quick Hits. Be well, take care, we'll see you next time.